What? He's still
Broad daylight bullets, 2 hit, over $500,000 in exotic cars. All of it on surveillance video obtained exclusively by 7 News from October. An ultra-quiet...
The dirt.
JCV Films with that fire get the I appreciate you.
OTL, fuck is you talking about? Okay. Why you say it like that for? Come on, get your picture, man, before you get beat up.
Oh, wait, my...
Josh, I'll be shot.
Bro, shooting, nigga.
Yeah, come people, you know.
Whoa.
I do wish you were ugly though. Back, most down. Try to remember this. No, try to free Hank. All that.
Free Hank. All little members. So what's going on?
Yeah.
Y'all three. Y'all just in the let me get one.
Picture this. You're a white guy running with one of the most feared crews in South Memphis. Not as a mascot, not as a tag-along, as someone trusted to carry weight in real street situations. You survive places where most people wouldn't last a week. Then one moment gets caught on camera. One clip flips your entire image. And the same people who once called you family erase you overnight. That's how White Grape's story really starts. And what happened after he got cut loose didn't just ruin his life, it ended someone else's. This isn't a rap story. This isn't hype. This is about how fast loyalty disappears when perception changes and how race plays a role even where people pretend it doesn't. To understand how things got this ugly, you have to understand Choppa Gang first. Choppa Gang didn't form for music or clout. It came out of survival in South Memphis. Pooh Shiesty grew up in the Cane Creek projects surrounded by violence from day one. His father was active in the streets and later got locked up on serious charges when Pooh was still young. That environment shaped everything. Protection wasn't optional. You either aligned with people who could keep you safe, or you became a target. By the time Pooh reached Central High, he was already locked in with other young hustlers trying to get money any way possible. Big 30 became his closest ally. Others followed, they stayed armed, moved together, and the name Choppa Gang stuck because that's how they lived. Their reputation came from fear, not talk, not image. Violence made their name travel across Memphis. Once people believe you're dangerous, that belief becomes your shield. Lose it, and everything changes. And in Memphis, perception spreads faster than facts. The city itself is divided by invisible lines. Train tracks separate sides. North Memphis, South Memphis, East Memphis. Each section has history, grudges, and ongoing wars that go back years. Choppa Gang was rooted in the South, which automatically put them at odds with North Side crews. Their biggest ongoing issue became EBG, a crew tied to Central High days. Pooh and E Jizzle knew each other before music, before fame, before things turned deadly. Diss tracks weren't entertainment. When Back in Blood dropped, it wasn't metaphor. It referenced real robberies, real weapons taken, real disrespect. EBG fired back with visuals, slogans, and taunts meant to erase Choppa Gang's credibility. Shots followed, people got hit. Tension stayed high. In Memphis, a single sign of weakness invites chaos. That's the environment where White Grape came up. White Grape, real name Kenny, grew up white in South Memphis. That alone meant he had to work twice as hard for half the respect. From a young age, people assumed he was soft before he ever opened his mouth. Not because of how he moved, but because of how he looked. He went to Central High with Pooh and the rest of the crew. He wasn't a suburban kid pretending. He was outside dealing with the same pressure as everyone else. He had confidence, street connections, and no fear of being present where things got dangerous. But perception followed him everywhere. In Memphis, a white face in black street culture comes with assumptions. People think easy target, easy lick, someone to test. Even after putting in work, that doubt never fully disappears. White Grape eventually got initiated into the Grapes. The initiation was brutal. He took a serious beating, and photos of his swollen, bloodied face spread online. To him, that was proof. Proof he could endure, proof he belonged. To the streets, it still wasn't enough. Everything collapsed the day he got caught lacking. According to street accounts, White Grape was handling business when a group decided to test him. They saw a white guy with a weapon and money and assumed it would be simple. They rushed him, overpowered him, and pistol whipped him with his own gun. They emptied his pockets, took everything. But the robbery wasn't the worst part. Someone recorded it. The clip showed humiliation, not just loss. Talking, laughing, beating him down while making sure the camera caught it all. It wasn't only about robbing White Grape, it was about embarrassing Choppa gang through him. When that video hit social media, it spread everywhere. Group chats, Instagram, Facebook. Memphis doesn't forget visuals like that. Once people see you violated on camera, your reputation doesn't just take a hit. It collapses. Suddenly the jokes started. People questioned why Choppa gang even let him in. Comments turned racial. They weren't just mocking him, they were mocking the crew for trusting him. And in the streets, your image is your armor. When Pooh Shiesty saw the video, it wasn't about sympathy, it was about damage control. A soldier caught slipping on camera becomes a liability. No matter how loyal he was before, perception had shifted. The decision came fast. White Grape was out. No second chance, no redemption mission, no quiet break. He was officially disowned, cut off completely. In the streets, that's worse than being an enemy. At least enemies are expected to move against you. A former member carries stigma. For White Grape, it was a shock. These weren't just associates. They were his protection, his identity, his safety net. He took beatings for them, took risks, and one bad moment erased everything. But Memphis doesn't allow reset buttons. He still lived there, still had to move around, still had people watching him, waiting to see if he folded. Without Choppa gang, he had no shield. Some people felt bad for him. Others saw opportunity. Being kicked out signaled weakness to the wrong crowd, so he went back to hustling on his own. That move alone was dangerous. Everyone knew he no longer had backing. Every deal came with risk. Every interaction carried tension. And on top of that, he still had something to prove, not just to others, to himself. He was tired of being tested, tired of being seen as soft, tired of humiliation following him everywhere. The robbery video didn't just cost him his gang, it branded him. That pressure builds fast. Then came the deal in Binghamton. Reports say White Grape met with a group from West Memphis to move product. The exchange involved fake money. Once he realized what was happening, things escalated. In another life, this might have ended with words exchanged and everyone walking away. But White Grape didn't feel like he could walk away anymore. To him, it felt like another setup, another moment where people assumed he wouldn't react because of his skin color, another test. This time, he chose violence. Shots were fired, one man died in seconds, everything was over. White Grape went from a former Choppa gang member trying to rebuild to a murder suspect facing life-changing charges. One decision erased any future he had left, and that's where the story shifts from street drama to something deeper. Race doesn't disappear in the streets, it just shows up differently. People talk about stereotypes going one way, but rarely discuss how assumptions move in all directions. White Grape lived under constant pressure to prove he was dangerous enough to belong. When he got robbed, that incident wasn't treated like a setback. It was treated like confirmation. Confirmation of what some already believed. Ask yourself this. If a core member like Big 30 had been robbed on camera, would he have been kicked out instantly? Or would the crew have rallied around him to fix the damage? The answer is uncomfortable, but important. White Grape didn't just lose protection. He lost belief. That loss pushed him toward a moment that destroyed multiple lives. Now look at where everyone ended up. White Grape sits facing serious charges. The man who died left behind people who loved him. Families were shattered over fake money and wounded pride. Choppa gang itself is barely standing. Pooh Shiesty is locked up dealing with federal issues. Other members are facing charges, jail time, or worse. The structure that once looked untouchable is crumbling. And White Grape's name barely gets mentioned anymore. That's the cold part. The streets move on fast. Yesterday's drama becomes forgotten content. But the consequences don't fade. This story isn't about justifying anyone's actions. It's about understanding how fast pressure, perception, and pride can turn mistakes into tragedies. White Grape thought proving toughness would earn respect. Instead, it erased his future. Violence doesn't correct stereotypes, It feeds them. One clip, one decision, one moment where walking away felt impossible. That's how fast everything can fall apart. So ask yourself this. Was Choppa gang right to cut him off? Could White Grape have walked away from that deal? Or was the pressure already too heavy by then? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. And stay safe, because the streets don't offer second chances.